is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. I'm super pumped. We've got a really cool guest. Please welcome Brimstone. He is a celebrity guest and an entertainer entrepreneur. Brim, thank you so much for joining us today. You are a total rock star. I was reading your bio. I'm like, oh my God, this man is like a legend. Can you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Well, first and foremost, finally, Brimstone's made it to Deanna's Label Free Podcast. Super stoked, super excited. Beautiful lady in front of me, smiling and making this morning a wonderful morning. So thank you so much for that. It is an honor and a privilege to be here. So yeah, I've been around for a long time. I started my career, when I was 5, believe it or not, on Sesame Street and Romper Room. I was a child actor. You wouldn't get that now looking at me with the beard and
I'll grow up at some point.
But what do you call it? I've pretty much worn a tremendous amount of hats. I started, like I said, and as a child actor. A little bit later, I found my first love of music. I became a drummer, and I toured the world in drumming. Then I turned around and I wound up becoming a professional wrestler, toured the world in pro wrestling. Now I'm an actor, author, comic book character, animated character, kids book character. I do voice work, you name it, I've done it. And I also do podcasts and so forth as well. So I'm out there. I do stuff and things.
Yeah. So what's very interesting is, so my podcast is called, Label Free, and it really applies to all different types of people, all different types of backgrounds. And so you've really, in the entertainment world, you've definitely been label free, just like doing multiple things, and have made a huge career of it. And like, as we were talking, we had a great conversation before we started recording. A lot of people experience burnout, and you've actually just really have excelled in leveraging your celebrity status.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful ride. I'm not gonna lie, and of course, in every career, in every genre of entertainment, every genre of business, there's always peaks and there's always lows. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's the secret to longevity is learning how to ride them out, learning how to accept failure, learning how to continue to move forward, and just being yourself, being authentic, man. That's me. I am authentic. There's no other way for me to be. Mom taught me that early on, always be real, always be good, always be yourself. And, at the end of the day, I really feel that, it was important for me, early on. And I knew this in my music days, was to be able to brand, to be, build a brand and move with the brand and make sure that brand is fluid. When I got into pro wrestling, obviously that's where the Brimstone name came from. And that's stuck with me for well over 20 years at this point. And with that name, I was able to take it, brand it, build it, and literally kind of infiltrate any area of entertainment that I'd like to go. The positive is, and what I always like to speak when I have a lot of friends in the business on the entertainment side, and in all different aspects of entertainment in general.
Yeah, sure.
And one of the things that a lot of people always say, they're like, Brim, you're doing this, you got your food lines, you got this and that, and the next thing, what they go, like, how do you do all this? I said, well, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not lazy, and the fact of the matter is, you should be doing it too, because guess what? Entertainment, again, it's peaks and valleys. You know what I mean? So when those peaks turn into valleys, how are you making your money? How are you supporting your family? How are you living? You know what I mean? So rather than scraping paycheck to paycheck, why not make sure you have some kind of business running to kind of keep you rolling through those valleys? You see what I'm saying? So yes, it's a little more work. However, yes, now during, this past year, COVID, thank God I have a couple of businesses that I run and product lines and so forth. Because otherwise, we couldn't travel.
Right.
We can't tour. We can't go to Comic Cons and sign like we normally do. So I've been doing a lot with, the businesses. Thank God I have my studio and my engineers, because, I was able to do a ton of voiceover work. So, while we were down, I wasn't touring. What did I do? I did a ton of video games and animated series, and, did a lot of character work. So, it's important for people to understand that, it's called the entertainment business for a reason. You have to know the business behind it. You also have to know when it's time to seek other things as well. And when you're doing it, go into it and build yourself a brand, because if you're not a brand, you're going to come and go.
Yeah. And I think like what you said, like that is like the key thing, like the beauty and the benefit of building that brand in the entertainment field is is that you're able to create other businesses that people will support because they're already supporting you from an entertainment perspective. So it only makes sense to marry up to make that brand work for you even more when you are experiencing those lows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people miss the boat with that in your industry.
They do. And there are a lot of people that sorry, a little technical
No
difficulty.
worries.
What do you call it? A lot of people are you know, they had something successful happen. They were on a successful series. And they did something that was monumental, or they played a character that was monumental, and they ride it till the wheels fall off. And there's no issues with that. That's a fantastic thing, and I'm so proud of all my friends that have had that type of a success. And I wish them nothing but good things. But there are times where now what happens when that kind of peters out, and the fact is you don't own those characters, so you can't turn around and build an additional business off of those characters. So you know what I mean, kind of. It's a tough situation, like people who do voice work, they don't own those characters that they do the
Yeah.
voice work for, so they can't benefit off of all of the all the toys and the t-shirts and the this and the that and the next thing. They're getting paid specifically to do the voice work, and then maybe make a good living doing the Comic Cons. But what if they don't get booked at the Comic Cons? You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to have a backup plan. You know what I mean? Not saying that the initial plan isn't the go ahead plan, but you should always have a backup plan that assists the
Sure.
initial plan.
I
Am I making sense? I hope.
Oh, it totally makes sense.
Okay.
But with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break and recognize one of my sponsors. Support for Label Free Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's grooming below the waist. Manscaped offers, but we also are all inclusive. So women, you can use it too. It is a fabulous tool. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels, including women. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for all my listeners, 20% off plus free shipping using the code labelfree20 at manscaped.com. And just really quick, a little preview of one of their tools. Like, I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to use this bad boy? Like, it's super sleek, super cool. So please take advantage, 20% off and free shipping with labelfree20 at manscaped.com. Thank you for that little break, Brim.
No problem.
You're dropping some real good information though. So you know what is, I'm not at your level at all, and I probably never will be, but you know what I've done? I mean, I was a fashion designer for a couple of years, and I learned during that process to really brand myself. And that has carried me through the last couple of years. And as I've grown this podcast, I've really maintained my brand, as Deanna Marie, Deanna Kuempel, and it has, and a lot of people that I go out and they see me, they're like, oh my gosh, I see you everywhere. You've done really well at branding yourself. And I'm not selling anything. I've got, I'm promoting Manscaped, but I'm not selling anything but just like my personality, I guess. I don't know, but you know what I mean? So if I do actually reach some kind of status where I could have another business flow where it would be successful and people would support it that way, I've already got my branding in place.
Absolutely. Well, essentially you all right, so you're branding now, and you're saying that you're not selling anything, but you really are, Deanna. First of all, you're selling yourself, you're selling your podcast. So next thing is merchandise, to have t-shirts, to do mugs, to do you're a designer, do something that includes fashion. You know what I mean? Now you can also take another step is, well, this is a business. I look at any show that I do as a business.
For sure.
Okay. And when you're talking about like the Grindhouse Radio, we do over 6 figures. And the fact of the matter is that you could do that too. You know what I mean? It's just about building out. And now, since you have a specific niche that you hit, now you should have advertisers that are paying you to advertise on your show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is a business. So when you're, when you're thinking, oh well, I'm just doing this and I'm my show, yes, but work with that brand. Now make money from that brand.
Yeah.
Am I making
No,
sense?
you are making sense, and I'm getting there. I'm getting closer. So I do operate as a business. I mean, I'm
Yes.
very business
Perfect.
oriented. Like I'm, like I told you, 9 episodes today. That's a long day. I have
Yes.
I have a producer. He does like the edits and all that stuff. So I am very business oriented. I guess what I'm saying, like I'm not going to reach that level, is that I think you have to reach a certain level with your audience, that is following you to
Hmm.
get to that support level where it makes sense to start rolling out some of the merchandise and stuff. Because I do have a plan for merchandise. I have been building that out because I'm
Right.
not stupid. I'm a smart girl.
I
So
didn't say you weren't. I didn't say you were. I knew. Listen, all I'm doing is just spewing information,
yes,
and it's just, and again, I think that it's, to be honest, I don't think it's ever too soon. So if you have something set up and ready to go, why not put it up and have it ready to go? There are plenty of websites and so forth now that even if you don't want to invest X amount of money to have that merchandise,
yeah,
at home, you can set it up with the site that they do all the work, they drop ship it, and you get your cut. You know what I mean? So that might be something that can make you an extra few bucks. And what's crazy is that, you and I were talking earlier, you've got numbers, and I'm sure that if you put something out there, you'd be surprised at how many people would actually support you and purchase a few things. And this way you'll see some stuff moving. And guess what? Every person that's wearing a Label Free Podcast shirt with your pretty face on it,
aw,
that's bringing you more people, right?
you're
Right?
sweet. You're super sweet. Oh my gosh, you're making me feel so good over here, Brim. I'm loving this conversation. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate the positive words and the encouragement because
No worries.
I am trying to get. I absolutely love this. I actually was in the corporate world I got laid off or I got fired and whatever, laid off in December because of the COVID nonsense.
COVID. Yeah.
And I've just really focused on growing my podcast. And I just, I told myself, I actually just wrapped up a recording with a woman in Belgium before you and I jumped on.
Right.
I told her, I said, when that happened, I told myself, I'm going to surrender to the universe, surrender to the unknown. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I'm not going to worry about it. And since then, this has just been like, doot, doot, doot. So
That's
I
it.
must be doing something right.
And it's, the fact is the people today, consume, their content very quickly
Yes.
on the internet. You know what I mean? Everybody's on the interwebs one way, shape, or form, whether it's here on the computer or on their phones or, on the television. I mean, it's just like, they want it quick, they want it fast. Social media, quick, 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 quick. Doing it now, doing this podcasting thing, doing internet radio, doing things like that, working on social media. I mean, that's the now. That is, and if it's not necessarily the now, it's the near future. You know what I'm saying?
I totally.
It's crazy because, people don't realize, the big business that it actually is or could be. You know what I mean? And again, it doesn't matter where you are, where you start, who you are, as long as you have a good product and it's a clean product that people enjoy, they're going to follow you. People will follow you, and your business will grow. We're lucky enough, over the years, like I said, we have our studio, we have our endorsements, we have our sponsors, we have, a lot of really cool things here at the Grindhouse Radio that, other people don't necessarily have, but, we also busted our asses to get them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, Bayer Dynamic microphones, I have the luxury of having, some of the best microphones in the world, in the studio. Zoom International, what do you call it? Zoom, for what do you call our filming and for our board and so forth. So, you know what I mean? Like all these different things, they come in time.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, you're never going to go anywhere. You know what I mean? So you did the right thing. You said, you know what? Look, I'm done with the corporate world. Let's make something happen for me. And you took that and you grabbed it by the cojones and you went forward with it. And I'm happy for you, because that's one of the things that we were trying to tell people to do before COVID happened. We would do a lot of podcast 101s and so forth. We were doing the things in all the libraries and the colleges, universities, businesses, and they bring us in, and we go in and we'd have talks and sign for the people there. And we kept saying, look, you can it's perfectly fine to work a 9 to 5
Yeah.
and work for somebody and make that money.
Yeah.
But you know how much more exciting it is, and how much more what's the
Rewarding.
word, rewarding it is to do it on your own and to make your own money, knowing that you don't have to just make 20 grand this year. You don't have to make 50 grand this year. You don't have to make 70 grand this year. You can make as much as you want if you put your mind to it and you work for it. You know what I mean? There's no reason that anybody can't do it. And the fact is the people that say, "Oh, I can't do it. It's too hard. I don't want to work on. Oh my God. And I need that paycheck." Well, guess what? Then you're lazy. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's okay. It's okay. But don't bitch about working a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't complain. And you're if you don't want to build your own dreams, you can
Yeah.
build someone else's. They'll pay you for it.
Right.
Saying it in the book. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people, they get frustrated, and then they get, a little jelly when people, like, because I have friends that work 9 to 5s, that they get mad. They can't see me because I'm touring, or I'm here and there.
Right.
They get mad at me because I can't necessarily make a phone call. I go, look, well, I can appreciate that, but your hustle from 9 to 5, you get paid to go and do that. Well, if I'm not out there doing all the things I do, I don't get paid.
Right.
So I need to support my family.
Yeah.
And, because I make the money that I make, you know what I mean? It's because I'm working 10 times harder than the
Yeah.
average Joe. So, all due respect. And again, I respect everybody from, somebody who works at a mom and pop hot dog shop, you know what I mean? To,
We need those
you know,
people. We need those.
yeah, you need them, and everybody's amazing, and everybody should learn that nobody is more important than the next.
Really agree.
That would make this world a better place. That being said, without getting political, the fact is that people get stuck in something that they believe should be. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? In terms of they were brought up, and mom and dad were always like, well, one's a serial oh my God, like they've always worked for maybe the police department, and the other one's working for retail or something, whatever it is, or somebody works for an attorney somewhere. It doesn't make a difference, but they're so used to working that strict
Yes.
9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or whatever the hell it is, and they're Monday through Friday, and that's it. And then they get their paid vacations and so forth. This is what you need to survive. This is what you need to survive, and that's it. It's cookie cutter, and that's unfortunately how people get stuck. And now they think that, oh my God, if I'm trying something and I'm not going to make money in right away, and oh my God, what do I do? I can go 6 months without making a dime, right? And then on that, and then 2 weeks after that 6 month period, I'm bringing in more than people make in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that if you put if you understand how to balance your money,
Yeah.
and balance your bank book, and know that you're working towards a goal, you're
Yes.
going to succeed.
Yeah.
So, other people are, oh, I don't have any money this week. Oh my, what am I going to do? And I get it. I was there years ago.
I'm the starving artist right now, so you're preaching to the choir.
I get it. But the biggest thing that I can say is believe in yourself.
Yes.
If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you.
Totally true.
And even though, in a lot of cases, mom and dad, they love you to death. They love you so much. You're the best thing that's ever happened to them. And they mean well, but they don't understand what it's like to walk in an entrepreneur's shoes or an entertainer's shoes. So don't let people squash your dreams, even if they believe that they're doing the right thing for you.
Right. Yeah.
Because they do.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, and my mother and father are very, my mother passed away 3 years ago. My parents were divorced. But what do you call it? They both very, very supportive of everything I do,
Yeah.
And been there for the ups and the downs. And the fact of the matter is that, my father was going to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
He had, he's a singer, and even before that, he was a golfer. He would have went on the pro tour. What do you call it? But what happened was is, what do you call it? My grandfather had an irrigation business, and he said, "Well, no, you're coming to work for me."
Uh,
And what do you call it? He
old
wound up
school,
giving up his, yeah, he wound up giving up his dreams of golf, and he went and worked for my grandfather. And then years later, he was singing, and he taught himself how to play, some guitar and singing. And my father has an unbelievable voice. I'm not gonna lie. It's not because he's my dad. He's got an amazing voice. And what do you call it? You know, he put his best foot forward. And and my mom, before they got divorced, my mom would try to help him and push him.
yeah.
And now, my stepmother, years later, my father still goes and he goes out and sings on the weekends and does what he can. But
Oh,
he's very successful insurance agent. He
yeah.
has his own practice, his own business. And he makes plenty of money and so forth. And he said to me, he goes, listen, what's going on here? And he's always there on the business side. You know what I mean? Like, well, can you beef up the sales there, or can you do this here? And because he's instilled that in me also.
Sure.
But they're still supportive in the fact of, all right, well, he's going to do what he's going to do,
Yeah.
and what do you call it? And whatever he's doing it's working.
Yeah.
So, like,
Sure.
but some people aren't like that. They're not blessed like that.
Yeah.
But my father, I guess, sees some of me in him and says, hey, well, I wish I would have, if I had that support, maybe I would have
Yeah.
done something else,
For sure. And I have people in my life that don't really understand some of the stuff that I do, and like why I use social media the way that I do. And it's like, so I'm like, so a lot of my family won't be connected with me on social media because because they're uncomfortable with how much attention that I get, and
Yeah.
how much I'm out there. And in some ways it's a compliment, but in other ways they don't understand it, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. Like something drew me to doing this, and I'm going to do it. I follow my heart. And you talk about being real, being authentic. Like that's all I know how to be, is who I am, and God made me do it, so I'm just going to go with it.
God bless. That's the only way you can be. You know what I mean? And people don't, they feel that they have to be a certain way. And the biggest, yeah, that's it. The biggest thing for me, I've always said it. I never want to be that cookie cutter person.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as hell never going to become that cookie cutter person. And don't get me wrong, when I was wrestling and I was touring wrestling, I was working with a high salary as a salesperson, and I worked for Newsday here in New York.
Oh, wow.
What do you call it? And what do you call it? Sales and advertising and
Yeah.
management. And what do you call it? And I was young, and I was
Sure.
management, at one of the biggest newspapers in New York. I'm sure you've heard of the Village Voice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I worked for the sister publication, the Long Island Voice, which was when
I love New York. I'm East Coast.
Yeah, when Stern owned it. Oh, so you're from here?
No, but I used to travel. Like my late husband,
Okay.
I used to travel all over the country and into Canada for our business. So yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar though.
I'm very familiar.
So yeah, I mean, so we, the Stern Publishing, it was his daughter's pet project, doing the Long Island Voice, and I was a musician. I knew all the bars, all the clubs. I knew anybody you needed to know. So and I knew how to sell. So they wound up putting me in a management position there to, doing music stuff. And then I went, and Newsday bought me from them. It was like, so I was doing that while I was wrestling and touring. So I wanted to fill my brain,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And as well as, at the time, my muscles, not anymore, I'm more flabby now, but what do you call it? You get the idea.
Yeah,
And that's why when I was offered certain contracts, I was like, well, I was cocky. So I was like, well, why do I want to take that contract? I'm making X amount there and making more doing what I'm doing independently.
Sure.
Why would I want to sign a contract and give all of that up?
Yeah, exactly.
So it is what it is. And the fact of the matter is I've been on both sides of the track. So I understand when people are like, well, I want to make that paycheck. I get it because you want to, but you have to follow your dreams.
It's security, and I think there's a fear factor there with people that are stuck in that vicious cycle. My cat's going a little crazy right now. So if you hear that, sorry. I have a house full of life. I got 2 dogs, 2 cats. You know, it's just crazy over here. But I know your time is very valuable. So before we start wrapping things up, Brim, do you want to drop any links where the audience can find you, follow you? And I'll definitely put them in the description of the episode as well.
I appreciate it. I mean, listen, anybody can find out pretty much everything about me. I've got, stuff that I still have to get up on the official site, but
Yeah.
what do you call it? But if you go to therealbrimstone.com, you can pretty much find everything on there. And I'll be adding stuff as we go. What do you call it? I mean, I just did a complete rebuild and rebrand late last year. On the website. I had other webmasters over the years, and I just said, you know what, I love them to death, but they're not doing what I want them to do. So I wound up doing that myself. I went on and I just ripped it apart and did it myself.
You are
And
for sure. I love it.
so therealbrimstone.com, you'll find everything there. I'm very, very I'm on, I guess you should say, Instagram all the time. I'm verified. You'll find me there at The Real Brimstone. Please engage with me. I'll always engage back. The same thing for Twitter is at Entrance to Hell. I'm not verified there. They're pissing me off. Everywhere else I'm verified, but not on Twitter. But what do you call it? But it's at Entrance to Hell. Again, it's all on the website. It's just a gimmick, guys. I'm a nice guy. And what do you call it? Hopefully you guys will follow and hang out and spend some time with me.
For sure. I love it. You have been just awesome to talk with and record with. Thank you so much. You're welcome back anytime. I'd love to have you back. Any last words of wisdom for the audience before we wrap things up?
It's very important to listen to Label Free Podcast. Make sure you hang out with Deanna every time she pops on. Make sure you pay attention. There you go.
That was
yeah. Check out the Grindhouse Radio, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on every Thursday night. What do you call it? You'll catch a really good time with myself and the crew.
Awesome. All right, you guys, this is your host, Deanna Kuempel with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, follow, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.